Hey guys, got another video for you today on Ripple, and I really wanted to highlight Ripple's CEO, Brad Garlinghouse. He did an amazing job explaining what Ripple is, the solution it offers to banks, and why it has, lasting potential. He was on two financial shows, which was CNBC, I believe it was Squawk, and then he was also on a Bloomberg show as well. So I'm going to play these videos in case you guys didn't miss this or you didn't see it. But I think it's really great because Brad, it's important to have someone who's capable and who can speak about the company and confidently and really explain things in layman's terms to many of these financial folks, reporters, because many of them still don't understand cryptocurrency. So I think he did a great job, and it's good to see someone at the helm of a company, Ripple, who's able to really be confident and tell a story about what Ripple is and what its mission is. So I'm going to go ahead and play these videos for you guys, and they're both about 2 minutes long, and hopefully this helps you guys get a better understanding of Ripple as well.
Now, Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of the cryptocurrency developer Ripple. Ripple's XRP token has surged more than 500% this year. Brad, nice to have you here.
Thanks, man.
First of all, just tell people what exactly Ripple does, because it's not just the currency, also you're very involved in blockchain.
Absolutely. So Ripple sells a blockchain technology to banks and payment providers and other financial institutions to do real-time settlement between banks. So today, if Morgan wanted to send $10,000 to London right now, the fastest way for her to do that is to drive to Newark or JFK and fly it there. Our view is, in a world of the internet, you can stream video from the space station. You should be able to do real-time settlement between banks, and we sell technology to banks to do that.
And the banks are getting on board with this because I know there's a lot of paper pushing and also a lot of money attached to those settlements.
For sure. So we have over 100 banks working with Ripple today around the world. I think the vast majority of banks, like 99.9% of banks, actually are paying other banks, the global money center banks like JP Morgan or Citibank, to make those settlements. So a lot of the banks are very excited about democratizing how these global payments flow.
There's a belief that, you could transform the global payment system over time, although then the alternative argument is you need a centralized. You can't have it decentralized, that it actually benefits from efficiencies. I would assume you come down in the latter.
Yeah, for sure. I think anytime you can do something without that central counterparty, you're going to reduce friction, which is measured by time, cost, speed. So by removing that central counterparty and going direct from point to point, you can skip going from the Bank of David to the Bank of Morgan to the Bank of Mike. You just go directly to the Bank of Mike.
So if the immediate opportunity is efficiencies in this area of the actual kind of nuts and bolts sort of plumbing of the financial system, how does that relate to the value of the Ripple tokens or of the Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies? They're taking on a separate life, it seems, from the future of adoption of this technology.
It's a great point, and I think one of the things we all have to remember is that the value of a token over the long term is really going to be derived by its utility. What problem is it solving? How big is that problem? How many customers do you have? There's no question there's a lot of hype in this system, and I don't actually think that's a good thing. For Ripple, we use this digital asset called XRP to settle liquidity needs between banks. So today there's $27 trillion parked at different banks around the world so they can make payments between each other. Our view is you can use a digital asset like XRP to do that in real time. Because XRP has been so efficient, it settles a transaction about 3 seconds compared to Bitcoin.
So it just passes through that currency for that period of time.
That's correct.
Hey there, thanks for checking out CNBC.
So there you have it. That was the interview on CNBC. Really great. Did a great job explaining and answering their questions. So let's take a look at the Bloomberg interview here.
I didn't have any idea that Ripple is going to become the kind of thing that it has become here. And it's interesting to me because you're so focused on having a functioning business built around blockchain, but you've also got this big honkin' valuable currency that you guys have a lot of.
There's no question, and I think as some of your earlier participants said, there's a lot of hype in this space, but I think there's also there's a lot of hype, but there's a lot of reality. And Ripple's been very focused on how do we create real utility and solve a real problem. And in this case, it's for cross-border payments, which is a multi-trillion-dollar problem. And if we could reduce the friction there using blockchain technologies, we think we can create a lot of value for consumers, for banks, for the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing of going to an ATM, anyone who travels overseas and goes to an ATM machine and sees the massive fees slapped on there just to access their own money, often from the same bank that they use in their native country, knows what a problem this is, let alone the huge businesses that Western Union and others have moving currency. But it looks like you're looking far beyond that, I guess, into actually what the banks themselves are paying.
You know, even within the banking community, there's a few banks that kind of sit on the top of the entire global payments infrastructure. And all the other banks end up paying them to help settle the global liquidity that's required for commerce, for small businesses, for retail. And across the board, it's kind of amazing that we still live in a world where to send money to London today, the fastest thing for you or I to do would be to drive to, well, for you, for SFO, for me here in New York, to JFK or Newark, and fly the money to London. That's crazy. We live in the age of the internet and we can't move our own money in real time. And of course, as you said, the costs here can be really high.
Yeah, it's a fascinating thing. It seems like the kind of thing I love when you talk about this, saying it should be as easy as sending an email or moving any other piece of digital information, downloading a website or whatever. When you make the sale for this business, to whom do you make the sale?
Well, we really are in the business of selling solutions, selling technology to banks. Part of that is simply a software sale. And part of that also for customers that want to take advantage of using a digital asset like XRP for liquidity. What that means is instead of pre-funding literally the trillions of dollars that banks have with other banks around the world, they pre-fund that amount that sits there. It's really dormant cash sitting there. With digital assets, you can make that much more real time to enable a payment across a border into another currency in real time. Today, Ripple's doing that into Mexico with companies like Qualix, and we certainly see that expanding with other partners and customers over time.
So there you have it, guys. Pretty cool, right? He did a great job explaining, once again, Ripple's technology, its use cases, the problem that it solves, and how it can help banks. And I think, having these type of positive interviews and being able to explain what Ripple is going to help it to go mainstream and for people to accept it, and once again to get that more coverage and more visibility. So pretty awesome. Hope this helps you guys because he did a great job explaining it. And I don't know if some of you got to see these interviews, but hope this helps shed some light on Ripple. So that's it. Just wanted to show that because I thought it was great. The interviews, Brad did a great job. And yep, I'll talk to you guys later.